That's right. That's right. It's your boy, Brother Black One, here with another strong video. What's up, family? Today, uh, title of this video, discussion of this video is pretty self explanatory. Uh, Basically, sometimes it's just best to leave some relationships dead. Just leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? It's best just not to resurrect them. But what do I mean by this when I say it's best to leave some relationships dead? Well, this can be taken in for one-on-one relationship with significant others and relationships with people, acquaintances, people you know for a long time, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Well, in my experience, um, sometimes it's just best to leave certain relationships alone. Like, for example, when I was in business, I had uh, people that I was cool with, and we was just, we did business together. I thought we was cool and everything like that. But then for some reason, they just stopped picking up the phone. They just stopped answering the phone. In this particular instance, I let somebody borrow some equipment, and when I called to say, "Hey, what's up?" Whatever, whatever, I realized I started noticing that they wouldn't pick the phone up. They would just text back and forth, texting. I was like, "Man, what's up? I need to get my machine." "Oh, you need your machine? You need your machine?" And then something hit my spirit like real quick. It was like, this dude trying to dodge you. He ain't trying to get your equipment. This is foul. I mean, it's supposed to be fellow brother in Christ. Thought we was cool. But then all of a sudden, I just couldn't figure it out, especially because they had my equipment, right? So then I got to learn over the years, God lets certain things happen for a reason. And you can't fret over that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So in my case, I lost some equipment. That could be making money right now, but it's just equipment. You know what I'm saying? Like my pastor said, it didn't happen. Um, it happened through you, not to you. Meaning that he was like, man, let that stuff go. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you don't know what God is keeping you from, where certain situations where you involved with somebody, then all of a sudden it just seems like overnight they just um things just changed or went awry. Like I can name a couple of times, like there's a couple of instances in the past where I thought the person was real cool, and then all of a sudden they just did whatever. But particularly when they're dealing with relationships, where you're dealing with man and a woman, this is very vital and mission critical. I know sometimes when you break up with somebody and you feel like, man, we can work this thing out. Man, we just need to talk. We just need to whatever, and we can work this thing out. Let me tell you some real good advice. Sometimes it's just best to leave sleeping dogs lie, because you're trying to force a situation that apparently that season in that relationship is up. The old saying goes, some people are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, and that's it. And when the expiration date come up, don't trip, because see, again, you don't know what God is keeping you from, right? So that's my advice, what I tell you. So let me give you a better example. There was a movie that came out in the late 80s, and they rebooted again in 2019. And that movie was called Pet Cemetery. I don't know if none of y'all remember that movie, but basically, long story short, it was about a family that moved from the big city out to the country. Like, this wasn't really the suburbs, this was beyond the suburbs. About a family that moved out to the suburbs, just for better quality of life. You know, it was a two kids, a husband and a wife. They had a son and a daughter. So in this movie, they were neighbors with this guy, and the husband and neighbor became real cool. And the neighbor was telling the guy that when they were walking, he was telling them about a pet cemetery. And the legend of the pet cemetery was where they said that children will go take their loved ones, or they go take their pets, which is just like their loved ones. They would go take their pets and bury them in a pet cemetery. And he told him, he said, legend has it that when you bury them in a pet cemetery, that they will come back to life. So that same neighbor also warned the father of his neighbor, the father, that be careful about the highway next to your house because trucks fly up and down and speeding up and down that road. So in the scene in the movie, the little boy was flying a kite and no one paying attention. You know how the movie is, nobody paying attention. And he lets the kite fly out of his hand, and the kite is way up in the air. And he lets the kite fly out of his hand. And as a kite is naturally in Hollywood, in the movie, is drifting towards the road. Well, the little boy, he's 4 years old, he's going to catch the to get the kite. But then you see this truck coming down the hill, and the inevitable happens. The boy gets run over by the truck trying to go catch the kite. So the father figures he's so distraught because, of course, you know, he blames himself for the son dying in a tragic accident. And what happens is he gets desperate. He's delusional. He's depressed. He's distraught. So what he does, he decides he's going to take his son, the remains, he's going to take his son after they buried him. He's going to take his son to the pet cemetery because he figures I can right this wrong and I'm going to resurrect my son's life. I'm going to bring him back to life by planting him burying him in the pet cemetery based on the legend of what his neighbor told him. But little did he know that was a big mistake. Little did he know that neighbor didn't tell him the whole story about the pet cemetery. So one night after he buries his son, he hears a knock on the door late at night. Guess who it is? It's his son. And he figures, oh my gosh, I got my son back. You know, life can go on as normal, yada, yada, yada. But what he don't realize is his son may have been there in body, but he wasn't there in spirit. See, the point I'm making is his father tried to resurrect something that was better left dead because his son untimely passing, that's the way his time was up. And again, you can't play God. You can't bring somebody back after they die. You can't bring them back, you know. And so what happened was the little boy was evil. He was trying to kill the father because he realized that the little boy, it was the shell of his son, but that wasn't the son's spirit in that body. The little boy was trying to stab and trying to kill the father. They was in that joint. I mean, they was doing a full-fledged rumble. And it got to the point where the son somehow had got a hold of like an X-Acto knife or a knife, and he like stabbed or trying to cut his father. And so what happened was somehow, I forgot, make a long story short again, somehow the father got a hold of the syringe and he injected the little boy. And the little boy said, hey, not fair, not fair, and turned away and walked from the father. See, the point I'm making, family, is that some things, like I said, are just best left dead alone. Leave them alone. You trying to, you can't understand, and man, your feelings are hurt, and man, we was cool. Man, I was in love with her. Man, we've been boys since the third or fourth grade. I got guys right now that I ran with when I was in high school. And just because the way life is, we don't really talk anymore. But they still my boys. Right? Now, what do I look like a fool trying to be like, come on, Joe, let's hang out. Let's trying to make something happen. Man, listen, sometimes it's just the nature of things. It may be not nothing you did personally. It's just that your season is up. And see, the thing is, you trying to resurrect, trying to grab this and man, let me hold on to that. And especially, like again, I'm prefacing relationships between man and woman. You figure, well, if I could just do this, or what did I do wrong? And man, we could just, and they try and tell you, hey, look, I don't want to be, with you, it ain't you, it's just whatever. See, when you're sitting up there trying to resurrect something that's already been finished, dead, or whatever, you don't understand that you look forward and not behind you, right? So what I'm saying is, you don't know, they may be a blessing up ahead around the corner that you may receive, but the only way you can get there is if sometimes you got to leave people behind. And that's okay. So I had to learn, like, if I talk to somebody, they don't call me no more, or if we've been cool and all of a sudden they get distant, man, I'm not going to push the issue. Because again, I don't know what God is keeping me from. And I know where he's taking me to is better. And it ain't always got to be a nasty breakup or, it can just be like, for some reason, they just stop calling. Now, I did a video earlier on talking about closure is necessary. Some things don't need closure. Some things, there's no explanation for it. You just got to accept it. It is for what it is. Sometimes people just may need their space. And sometimes you got to give it to them. And when you keep smothering somebody, you really going to push them away further and further to the point where they really don't want to come back. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's a girl, friend, boyfriend, whether it's a business associate, whether it's a friend, whatever the relationship is, sometimes it's best to leave certain things as they are. Like in the movie, the man was so desperate, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of times we're desperate. It's a human nature, especially if you say, man, you trying to rack your brain, you losing sleep or whatever. Man, just chill. Man, so you know what you got to do? All you got to do is just pray like, okay, God, what was the learning? What was the lesson in this relationship? What happened? Just show me whatever. And I trust that you're going to take me and guide you or whatever. You're going to guide me to a better place. And you know what? Sometimes it may be, I won't say it's a best friend, but it may be somebody you was real cool with or whatever. Man, just say, okay, God, this is what's going on. I'm cool. Okay. Embrace it. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Because you don't grow when you stay stagnant with the same old type relationships being monotonous. You don't know, and you know what you say, man, but that was my friend. You know what? I'm gonna give you a little hint, a little tip. Man, won't you pray to God for some friends, or bring you some quality people in your life that can help you grow. That will be your true friend. And I'm not saying the persons that just dipped out on you or ghosted you, as they like to say, to use the term ghost. I'm not saying they did that to you on purpose. But all I'm saying is, just let, like the Bible says, let the dead bury the dead. Man, let that stuff go. because you don't know where God's taking you, you know. So this is your boy, Brother Black One, here with another strong video. Till next time, family. Peace.